Hey, howdy, hi, and welcome to my channel. Thanks for finding me here. I am at the end of my day. I just want to relax a little bit, empty my mind. Check out that total vintage Zac Brown band. Man, I got that eons ago. I'm surprised I still have it. Today we're going to talk about Zen Doodle. I am waiting to get certified in Zentangle. I wanted a class that I could teach that is remote and that you didn't need to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. So unlike my pottery classes and my jewelry classes and my painting classes, this is so easy. These classes are going to be building block type classes. We're going to start out super slow, super simple, super easy. So for right now, I'm keeping it to a black and white scenario. Writing utensils. What do you need? Actually, the easiest thing you could grab is a pencil. And it will be great to have a pencil later on in our classes. We'll be adding some shading to kind of get the 3D effect. For your Zen Doodles, you can use a Sharpie. You can go and just pick up this is a special drawing Sharpie. Not that it's special. They have the fine tips, but you can go just buy the regular Sharpies. These two are sold as fine tips. I don't know if you can see that. They're very fine tips. Or you can go and spend some money and buy yourself a nice set of Zentangle pens. I will say, a pen's a pen. I'm finding that Sharpie works just as well as that. There may be a little bleed depending on what paper you're using with a Sharpie, but honestly, at this point in the game, it's just about practicing, emptying your mind, doing the therapy. And as long as you know that might bleed a little bit, you're going to be good to go. You can also just pick up your ballpoint pen if you like. So those are the writing utensils. Next, let's talk about paper. You can use just your regular old printer paper, nice flimsies. I will say if you are opting to do a Sharpie on that type of paper, you may get some bleed through. So it's best to use maybe a ballpoint pen when you're working on that, or just put 2 pieces of paper and know that you may have a little bit of bleed through. This is a thicker paper. I won't say it's necessarily cardstock, but it is a little thicker. You can find this on sale sometimes at Office Max. It will have, this one does have little dots. This little blue paper, it's a little bit thicker than your normal printer paper. I use that sometimes. Oh, here's some other papers. You can just honestly use anything. Sometimes I'll take old folders and I'll cut them up. This is just some colored printer paper I picked up on sale. Look for your sales at Walmart, at your office supply stores. Sometimes you're thrifting. You can find reams of paper that for $1. I always just buy them because you can always art them up. These are great. These types of paper are great because you can work a Sharpie and there's no bleed through. I love that. I normally practice on papers like these because later I want to do some really great artwork. I will do it on papers like these. This is a mixed media paper. This is a watercolor paper. That is really thick. It needs to be thick to take on the water from the watercolors, or like acrylic paints too. Now, I don't know if you can see on that, but it's a very textury. So this type paper is not going to be as smooth as these papers here. And I guess if you're really persnickety about that, you want something precise and perfect, you might not use watercolor paper. However, you could use mixed media paper. You still have that smoothness, but yet it does allow you to do watercolor. But you know what? If you don't have those type of papers, just grab yourself some printer paper. Grab yourself a napkin. Grab yourself an envelope. It really doesn't matter as long as it's plain that you can draw on. The difference between Zentangle and Zen Doodle is typically Zentangle is just a black and white art form. I always say my artwork is Zentangle that tells a story. So I like working with color. I got to have color. So in a later class, I will be teaching you how to do the watercolor on the paper so that you have a place to do the Zen Doodle. That's paper. Now let's get into sizing. See here again, just another note about paper. I used to be a massage therapist and I had all these gift certificates laying around. So I've taken them and I've cut them up so that I can practice. So I'll practice on these and then I'll do like the real artwork on the paper that I just showed you. When we're talking about size, I would not tell you to work on something of this size, this 8.5 by 11. It's way too big. It will be overwhelming. You want to get a nice square. I think Zentangle, they usually do, it's a 3.5 by, I don't even know. It's some crazy number, but you want a square is important, I feel, after having done this quite some time. I like this because it keeps your artwork, it keeps the doodle contained. An 8.5 by 11 piece of paper is a lot of ground to cover. The way I want to teach these classes is you start out small, you practice, you get something that you really love down, and then you can go bigger. Obviously, the picture I just showed you, I do go bigger. I started out working into 5 by 7 spaces, and then I went bigger and bigger. So it's just more time consuming, and I want to start you guys off with a win. So do us all a favor, start out small. All my classes for the next month or so are going to be done on these little squares. Go small. 3.5 is about as small as I would go. I don't know. I've been kind of messing around with 2.5s if I might like that. This is for practice. I don't get all crazy about it. Take your 8.5 paper, cut it down. I'm not lying about that. It will be overwhelming and you will be all over the place. So smaller is much better. In the event that you don't want to do that, I have these books I have created. They're art therapy books, and it's called Get Out of My Head Art Therapy Books. They are repurposed day timers. I like them because they click open and you can take out your paper that you want to work on. So they're filled with 50 papers of really cool, artsy doodle on the paper. There's enough room for you to add more paper if you want. But what I was showing you initially, they all come with little scraps. So I've taken the scraps so that you can test out your doodles that you want to put on to your nice paper. I've added some watercolor pieces in here. There's little pages for inspiration quotes, envelopes to hide little goodies in. So yeah, these are my books. You can find them for sale on my website. But again, you do not need this. All you need is a piece of paper, a pencil, and a pen. That's all you need. These are all the things you need. Go collect them and then click on my next video. It's in the link. It'll be at the link at the end of this video and we'll get started. All right? That's all you need. It's so easy. Have a great day.